Hello and welcome to the first episode of the American campaign for Total War of the Samurai, which is a mod for Fall of the Samurai, obviously for Total War Shogun 2. Now what this mod does is, well, obviously it introduces a whole bunch of new factions, units, etc, etc, but more importantly for me, and I imagine for a majority of more European/American players who just couldn't get into Shogun 2, even though it's a great game, but they just don't know that much about the Japanese Isles during the middle to early stages, or basically the stages that the Shogun 2 game covers. This is a great mod because it adds the United States of America, France, and the United Kingdom or Great Britain. And I'm not entirely sure if the lore is changed at all when it comes to these descriptions, because I haven't played Shogun 2 in quite a while. It's gotta be like 6 years at this point, and while the game is obviously brilliant, at least I think that it's pretty good, and most people do seem to agree with me, I think that I'm gonna be starting on normal, just because I haven't played it in such a long time. I really don't remember that much about it. I think the last version that I actually played was when the Rise of the Samurai came out, so it's gotta be a long time ago. And I haven't played Fall of the Samurai that much, maybe like one campaign. And yeah, obviously I played a little bit of Fall of the Samurai, I guess, but it's been a long time, so I'm gonna be playing on normal. And yeah, so as the United States of America, we are apparently the Shogunate for some reason, but our goal is going to be the absolute takeover of the entire map. Hopefully that's gonna happen. If not, then at least the goals that the long campaign entails, which doesn't seem to be that much, obviously. I wonder if the British have, yeah, seems like all the nations have the same goal, basically. So we'll be playing as the United States and bring some democracy to this region, because there doesn't seem to be much oil around. So that being said, let's get to it. And to be honest, I do think village town, yeah, I guess we do start with quite a lot of money, so let's put it to good use. And these settlements seem to be rebelling. I won't commentate on the let's call it the initial stages too much, because I think at least they're sort of self-evident what I'm trying to do. Just build up for a while and then sort of do, I guess, sort of a blitzkrieg around all the towns around us. We do start at peace, I think, with everyone. I did play for a couple of minutes this American campaign beforehand, just to see if the mod was working and if it was, you know, just I guess working, yeah. If it was working and if it was worth the time that I was planning to invest into, obviously, this entire campaign and endeavor of doing so. But I think the initial, I'm gonna build up just a bunch of military camps to be able to recruit a lot of divisions later on, or units, or whatever you want to call them, which would give us an advantage when it comes to the military. Because I noticed that the regular United States troops, and it seems to be the same case for the military of the French and the British. It seems that by the way, I found it fitting that Obama is our capital. But it seems that our military is not vastly, like not supremely superior, I guess, to the Japanese troops. However, our militia is completely atrocious. It's just terrible, and it's actually inferior to the Japanese militia. So what I'm going to be doing now, actually let's not recruit them just yet. What I'm going to be doing now is just building up a bunch so that I can actually get a standing army and expand quite rapidly to all the factions that are nearest to us. By the way, I like how the Americans get the European military doctrine. That's just sort of sort of strange. But, you know, it's 1857, we don't know that much about military conflicts with other developed civilizations because we do have 4 years until the Civil War kicks off. I'm not entirely sure if they incorporated that into this mod as a mechanic, you know, if you actually can choose a side in the sort of Civil War. It would be really cool if we could actually become the Confederates and just form like a strange colony and have our own sort of revolution against the mainland American forces, but I doubt that seriously, because that would be, I imagine, I do have some experience with game development and modding, and I do imagine that that would be insanely difficult to do, just to have I don't know, some sort of a revolution in a game that's not exactly made for those kind of things. But I'm gonna start off by requesting trade agreements with everyone just to get a lot of money. And yeah, so the initial couple of turns I'm not gonna record. It's just gonna be me building up, and I'll come back when we actually get a pretty good hold of the situation that's all around us, because just because all the different nations that are sort of adjacent to our position are waging their own little wars. So I think it's going to be quite important not to get too hasty and to get ourselves destroyed, because our military situations is atrocious in this situation. We do have a bunch of generals actually. Let's check our faction management. You can see our boy here is looking mighty, but his family is not. We only have I suppose 2 heirs, 2 sons, 1 heir apparent, I suppose. But Matthew Perry and his son, who actually has more loyalty than his father's honor. But yes, let's do this, and I'll come back in roughly 10 to 12 turns. Alright, so we are back. I waited roughly I guess 11 turns for that. So yeah, first we'll take on the Miyazu, who have Tango Port, and obviously the city or fort, or I suppose it's a large town. At least it's going to be soon to be a large town. But first we'll take Tango Port, and I'm choosing these guys first because they do seem to be at war already with the Toyuka, whatever. Basically the guys that are roughly around here. Let's just send our spy down there, because, you know, in essence, I think I decided that my first spread of democracy is going to be in this region right here. Tango, Tajima Port, Tajima, just go down these couple of provinces, because they do seem to be quite okay. Later on, I do plan to expand to the east as well, or I suppose the north, if you're, you know, trying to be correct when it comes to geography here. But yes, let's do this. Our faction leader, Perry Matthew, is going to lead the charge, and I suppose, yeah, let's declare the war. This battle is going to be pathetically easy, but I will quick save just in case our leader gets killed or something, and I will auto-resolve this first battle. Basically, we lost 1 troop to 10 of theirs, which is roughly what I do consider to be very good results. So I do have 2 standing armies right now. I don't have any cavalry in them, however. I'm working on that by building the what are they? The Army Engineering Training Camps, whatever. The Army Engineering Town, whatever you want to call it. We can actually recruit US volunteer riders, which are pretty decent sort of I guess Dragoon type units. Basically, they're cowboys, at least that's how I like to think of them. And yeah, so that's that. But in the meantime, we're about to finish European Military Doctrine. I guess then we'll go to Infrastructure, which is just going to be beneficial all around. Not entirely sure if Actually, this might be quite useful as well, but we don't have enough modernization, we don't have enough Western development, which is quite ironic because we are a Western power. Well, at this point, it's sort of debatable. Nobueka arises, okay, so, but we'll take Tango Port and we'll take Miyazu, and we'll see from there. Might take Tamba Town. That's a really funky name. Might take Tamba Town later on. I did lower my taxes because we were at peace, but I think we will raise them up just to gain a bit of income. I did waste quite a lot of money on this army and on development, so most of it on the army though. Did build quite a lot of militia, even though they're terrible, just to keep the core provinces secure, and you know, just in case, for example, the Fukui gets some strange ideas, or the Hikone, or the Yodo, I suppose that's the pronunciation, don't know, well, whatever. So on to the next turn. I think that our expansion will be quite nice, and you know, from what I've played of this mod so far, I do really like the fact that you get these Western powers, because that's something that I sort of expected from Fall of the Samurai when it initially came out. I expected you to be able to play as at least the British and the French, because they were quite the colonial powerhouses during this period of time. Not so much the Americans, but naval tactics. Now, I'm not going to be focusing too much on the naval side of things, so I will go for the... That financial institution looks nice, but I think the infrastructure... This doesn't seem to be doing anything, but we'll do the infrastructure first, just to get a bit of stuff going, and let's repair this. And since it's going to be on the front line, let's... I suppose the military camp's going to be useful in the long run, I suppose. And let's immediately go for the town of Miyazu. It's a quick save, even though we don't really need to, and auto-resolve. These battles aren't that important to fight ourselves, and since the auto-resolve seems to be in our favor quite a lot of the time... How does this work? How are you retrainer? The morale... I think the morale is going to be good, and let's go for the aggressor. That's pretty good. And this guy, our little spy here, let's just see, they still... Actually, they managed to conquer all this stuff. So they must have quite a good army. I think I'm gonna treat our little navy here, because that's used mostly for spying. But it does seem that this mod is sort of a very good replacement, even though it came out kind of late in the lifespan of Shogun 2, or I suppose Shogun 2. It came out, not entirely sure if it came out very recently, but it doesn't seem to be that old, maybe like a year or two. There are a few campaigns online, of course, but you know, so this is sort of the experience that I expected from Fall of the Samurai, maybe just like a horde type situation from Attila, where maybe the British spawn somewhere with a whole bunch of military units and you're supposed to actually invade the island. That was sort of what I expected. Maybe the United States start off as like something like this, where they actually have a province or like a naval town, and they actually sell the weapons or something like that, and the British actually invade. That is something that I vaguely expected and I really hoped for, but I suppose this is a suitable replacement. So the plan here is to build up or sort of replenish this army and take Tajima. Not sure who owns that right now, but we'll see. I suppose this army left over here will have to not wipe out, but sort of clean up after the Miyazu. Nation destroyed, Yodo. Okay, so the Yodo guys won't be bothering us anymore. They are taken over by Tsu, something like that. Soldiers recruited, use volunteers, brilliant. That's that's just a regular line infantry. Let's put him in Obama, our capital. And yeah, so that is that. Any new trading opportunities? Yes, Toyoka. Request trade. It's going to be bringing us a little bit of money, not that much, but every little bit helps, obviously. Almost making 3k a month, which is okay, you know, considering the army that we are fielding right now, which is quite great. Okay, there we go. So we actually revealed. So this trade actually is quite a cheat here, but I guess it's quite a good way of knowing. So the Miyazu actually have quite decent army here. I suppose it's going to be a bit worse than our troops, because the Japanese like to field quite a lot of melee units, and they get destroyed by the US regulars and the line infantry. The volunteers not so much, but they're still quite okay, not as bad as the, for example, the Japanese troops. These guys, the volunteers, the conscript infantry, and the recruits. These guys are absolutely terrible, at least from my experience, especially the conscripts and the volunteers. These units are quite bad, not as bad as the militia units, but these guys are, well, they're not good. Let's just put it that way. I suppose once you get the chevrons on them, statistically they're actually a bit better, but thing is, they're actually more expensive than our regular troops, so they're not worth it at this point. Maybe once we get into the late game and they get much better, then we can talk, but right now they're not that great. We can't actually build anything here because the stone fortification, or do we just not have enough money? Can't recruit unit. I suppose because the building is damaged, that makes sense, but just because the fort is damaged, can you really not recruit units? I suppose so. Levy garrison infantry, yeah, there we go. So let's wait a turn. Hopefully the Miyazu, you know, turn to actually attack us with this army they have right here. That would be brilliant. But in the meantime, suppose we're just gonna have to clean up after all the mess. Okay, so they appear to have beaten the Toyoka, and they're now gonna bombard my... Okay, so they appear to be completely dominating in that war, which is quite funny because the previous sort of run, or whatever I did with this campaign, just a sort of a test run, and they actually lost terribly. Port blockaded. Mounting unrest over here. That is absolutely okay. What's the 7? So what if I take out this? -3, huh? So I have to... Okay. Okay, that's okay. What we could do is just, suppose reinforce there and build up some militia here for the future, and move up. Can we move up a bit? Just a couple of militia troops. Okay, can't reach them just yet, but let's also move up these guys. Obama is now left mostly unprotected. Let's just... initially I built these militia guys just for the morale boosts or whatever, but hopefully it's not going to be that necessary. So Tango Port, okay. Actually what we could do is just head out with this army, but I do want to fully replenish them before we... They could take out Tajima right now, but I think that would be overstretching ourselves, because then the unrest would be sort of not unbearable, but a little bit annoying. Trade with anyone? Nope. But yeah, so the initial stages of this campaign are not going to be that brilliant, obviously, because we can't actually do all that much. Not surprising, I suppose. Let's build up Tango Port to a town, and I suppose that's it for this turn. Can we recruit anything? No, obviously not. So yeah, let's just wait a while, at least a little bit. Should have gone with that spy a little bit further. I wonder how the United Kingdom and the French are doing. I suspect they're doing actually quite nicely, because in the initial stages the Japanese obviously don't seem to have much. But I think we will actually engage this army, because oh, actually they're reinforcing. Okay, so that might be bit of a bigger engagement than we suspected. That's going to be quite a good test of our military skills. We don't have any cavalry, so that's going to be quite quite a strain as much. Okay, so they do have a bunch of generals here, quite a few generals, but let's take them on with our main force. I really want to see how this pans out. Okay, so they're +3, so we can take. Okay, so let's just take him on. Okay, they retreated. Annoyingly, -5. Okay, could actually just retreat with this army here. But what I want to do is I want to. These guys are happy. Okay, okay. Want to sort of reinforce these guys here with that army. Do sort of a reshuffling, I suppose. These guys are +3, so they should be absolutely happy with this. And then move up the little garrison force that I have. -2. Okay, okay, I see how it is. These guys haven't mounted an unrest yet, so it's going to be completely fine. Let's build. Actually, let's build a couple of these recruits in the Japanese forces just to sort of speed up our whole process. And with this army, I think I will head for Tajima Port. And yeah, so that's going to be completely fine here. It's completely okay. Don't have any money left to build anything at this point, but with the main force we will go for Tango and Tango with them, obviously. And yeah, so yeah, it seems that this this western or southern whatever campaign is going to be quite easy initially. Did we stand close enough to... Okay, I guess they just have a garrison there. No, I just want to see how these guys are doing. Okay, I think they only have one province left though. Actually, I think they do have an alliance. They have quite a lot of allies, which is surprising, because these guys... Who called them... Oh, these guys. They haven't actually called their allies into this war, and they're losing decisively. But they have these guys as allies over to the south of us, and I suppose some other provinces as well. So it's going to be quite an interesting fight. I did build a ship there, so I suppose it scared off those guys. Something like that, something like that. Talking about the navy, I wonder if we can actually reinforce these guys if they actually get into combat. Don't think so, but we might try it just for the try. They do seem to have quite a lot of provinces. Well, only 3 so far. But if we play it right, then we'll take minimal losses and destroy their forces utterly. Trade agreement from the two. Okay, let's trade. I can see that being beneficial to us. I guess they must have finished a trade port just now or something akin to that. But yeah, it seems that overall this initial expansion is going to be okay, because all the clans around us are being ravaged by constant war. As you can see over the end screen, situation developing, I suppose. Eager to serve. Don't need to enlist him because we don't have that much money. But I do want to let's see. I want to continue the siege. Do they actually have fortifications? They do. So let's not deal with that right now. We won't actually attack in a siege because that's stupid in Shogun. I do remember that. That's absolutely stupid. This thing is also a stronghold. Interesting. So let's move forward a little bit. They don't seem to have an army there. Let's just go for Tachima Port. A quick save as well, and we will continue the siege because maybe if we alter resolve. Decisive victory. Okay, let's keep that. That's a pretty good thing. Repair all this. Won't build it into a town yet. So these guys are a happy +1. can actually take out this unit because they're happy +3. So we could potentially take these guys out and take one of these guys out, reinforce that, and move it ever so slightly towards the Tajima port force. And work with that. We could also do is take out these volunteers and exchange them for one of the... Yep. Is there... Yeah, actually what we'll do here... Actually we can't, can we? No. Never mind, that was a silly plan. But what we'll do is move them forward a little bit to reinforce, or meet up with this army and then take out Tajima, and then hopefully work out something from there. In our main provinces, meanwhile, can we build anything? No, but what I'm going to do is work on Zouave infantry. We actually have the ability to recruit you as regulars, which are an insanely good unit, but at the moment our economy is not very good when it comes to the overall situation. So I think instead we'll actually just build up the economy instead. Focus on that, because our military forces altogether are not terrible in the least. But I suppose a couple of US volunteers won't hurt. So yeah, I suppose when we take out the Miyazu, we might want to take out these guys. Or these guys. I suppose they're allies, so we have to coordinate our attacks on both of these fronts at the same time. But what I'm thinking is that we do want to go for a deep strike, so maybe only one front, and then potentially sort of use it as a forward fortification and hold that position for a little while, sort of defeat their incoming samurai charges on our fort lines, and you know, deal massive casualties that way. But okay, it seems that our enemies there are being defeated by a variety of their enemy ships or other clans' ships, which is obviously good for us. Seems that the only real strong point they have left is Tango. We're actually besieging Tango Town. Just Tango. Tango Town is... There is no Tango Town. There's Tango Port. Which is strange. Why isn't it called Miyazu Port? I don't know. The things you learn, eh? These guys are just about happy. I wonder if we just start recruiting militia there, if it's gonna be worth taking out Tajima. So where's our spy? He's here, and he can actually reach that, but there's no point. Let's actually go and spy down south here, because I'm interested to see... So this is these are the Tatsuno. The Tatsuno they're actually allied. It's a really big alliance, it seems. So it's gonna be quite a challenge to take out. But I think we'll do okay, because US volunteers. The cavalry training would be quite nice. Veteran infantry. Now that's a thought. That's a thought. And that's a thought. But I don't know if it's gonna be that really all that worth that. Maybe just a port. There's actually well, not that much money, that's for sure. Maybe here we could go for not useful cavalry. So this is just another military building, large farm. That's what I'm talking about. And just go for a couple of more units, maybe. That's a big roster of units we have there. US regulars. Be good to have but it'd be much better to have some cavalry. So let's work on that right now. So let's build up some militia there. just so we can later on send them away. So they're +2, so we can take out these guys quite safely. Potentially move up to militia just to guard that. And these guys are +1, so we can just about take up the conscript infantry. I'll link up with these guys for the assault against Miyazu or Tajima, whatever you want to call it. It's from about 0, so that's not very good. But yeah. So they're about to be. I do actually want to fight this battle as a land battle because it's going to be quite a bummer if we don't have a battle in the first episode. It's going to be quite a lazy development that way. But overall, I think we're doing okay. It's a pretty decent start. You know, we already in the initial war we were progressing nicely. It could have been better. If we managed to just take out that tango thing, but I do actually want to fight a battle, because I do want to see how the things sort of developed. Okay, there we go. Here's a battle. Let's quick save just to be sure, and let's get into it. Okay, so I've done the good old Napoleonic strategy of just having our guys standing in a line, and they all look wonderful with great mustaches. Seems like a competition. Let's check out the regulars, because these guys are our best troops. Supposedly, they're facing a hill, so hopefully the enemies don't rush upon us. You can see that they have some levy garrison infantry, which looks kind of strange with these cloaks or whatever they are. They do have the clan line infantry, which is actually a pretty good unit. Their flag seems to be very cardboardish, though. Actually, our flags are quite cardboardish also. You can see the little waving animation, but I don't know, doesn't seem to be waving in the wind that much. But obviously that's sort of a staple of Shogun 2, that there aren't actually that many flags waving about. So it's definitely not the good old Napoleon and Empire Total War days where the flags were just completely magnificent and the physics were all over the place. See, they have quite a lot of generals though, so hopefully standing upon this giant field we will have quite an advantage. These are the US volunteers, who are currently basically the core of most of our armies, or along with the US line infantry, obviously. The good old boys in blue. And yeah, let's look at our mighty general, the only cavalry unit. They look absolutely amazing. His hair is quite wild, but that's gonna be this campaign. It's gonna be all over the place. It's gonna be quite wild. Spread of democracy is non-negotiable. So let's just look how long they last. I do have Neil Fire and ranked fire Neil Fire enabled. So let's see how long they last, because I'm really interested to see this. And it seems to be taking quite a long time. Oh, there we go. And we absolutely massacred them. Yes, their clan line infantry is basically annihilated in the first couple of minutes of this battle. It seems that we will have to develop them, however, from the side. So let's just do that. And let's also do that with our good old volunteer forces. Because it seems they seem to be preferring the good old World War I tactic of just walking forward, and let's see how that works out for them. Maybe it's just the AI being unnormal that makes them. Oh, here we go. They are actually doing something, and they're getting shot from the side, doing terrible damage to them. And last guy alive. That's probably the general, and bam, there he goes. So that went about as well as you could expect from such a strategy. Okay, so it seems that the ranked fire ability doesn't seem to be doing much. It seems to be working here. I suppose that's the Neil Fire ability, more rather. So, fire by rank is Neil Fire. I guess that makes kind of sense. We're actually losing a couple of men on the volunteers, which isn't all that terrible, but also losing some line infantry. However, we are doing absolutely terrible damage to these guys. Oh my god, I expected our troops to be good, but this is just, whoa, this is just amazing. This campaign's gonna be brilliant. I love this. I really love this type of combat where you just destroy the opponent. This is really good because you know in Empire and Napoleon, your troops were good. They were largely inaccurate. So this reflects quite nicely the development of the. This guy seems to be pointing his stick into his hand. Okay, so let's end the battle. And let's check out the stats. Okay, so as you can see, we did terrible damage to them. We lost basically sort of, I don't know, 2%. Not 2%, whatever you want to say. We lost basically one guy for 10 of theirs, so yeah, 10%, not 10% of their loss is not 1%. Jesus, my math is terrible. Okay, so even though it wasn't really, it was like 18, something like that. And yeah, so I think we'll leave it off for here, guys. I will be taking Tajima next episode. For the time being, we should probably besiege it. Yeah, let's besiege it. Continue siege. And Toyoka, we're actually gonna get reinforcements from Toyoka. This is gonna be brilliant. We're gonna actually see some Japanese on Japanese action. So let's continue the siege, and yeah, we'll get back into it when we can. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.